We have an extra item to consider. CAO Parker?
Yes, we have an extra item. Matthew will be coming forward to share why it should be considered. It's in relation to Congressman Thompson's ask for the earmarks that we previously brought before this board. There is a minor adjustment that we'd like to make the board aware of and to sign off on.
Okay, so first the rationale.
Matthew?
Yes, good afternoon, board members. So first, the rationale. On Monday evening, March 27, which was yesterday, the county was notified by the city of Clear Lake of a request for additional items to support a modified request that was derived from our broader community project funding request supported by your board, which was Resolution 2023-30 on March 14, 2023, and submitted thereafter by the city of Clear Lake. So Congressman Thompson's staff indicated that pools and aquatic centers are precluded from community project funding this cycle, and therefore the proposal must be amended to include funding of the capital costs related to the Regional Recreational Center at Burns Valley only. And we've been advised that additional materials must be submitted no later than Thursday, March 30, so that is prior to your board's next meeting.
Okay. Comments? Supervisor Spatier?
I was going to make a motion to approve the item.
Well, let's do
Sorry, jumping.
public input. Oh, I need to join. Okay, I don't see any, so we'll bring the item back.
Madam Chair, I move to,
Go ahead.
Well, it appears that there's going to be a motion to approve taking up this item as an extra item.
Yes.
For fiscal.
yes, I move to approve this extra item as it came to our attention after the posting of this current agenda and needs action prior to the next posting of the regular meeting on Tuesday, April 4th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, well, let's just take the item up now, 4.1.
Thank you, board.
Johanna, could you display both the resolution and the staff memo behind Matthew?
It has to be one at a time.
Okay, first the memo, then the reso.
Thank you.
So you'll recall on Tuesday, the 14th, your board approved submittal of 4 proposals for consideration of fiscal year 2024 community project funding. And those were the Lakeport Regional Navigation Center, which was a joint Lakeport and county submittal, the Recreation Center in Clear Lake, and Aquatic Community Swim Center in Lakeport, which was a joint proposal that had a countywide scope, Big Valley Fish Habitat Improvement and Groundwater Recharge Project, which was submitted by the Lake County Watershed Protection District, and Airborne Electromagnetic Survey of Lake County's groundwater basins, which was a project that was sourced in the Blue Ribbon Committee and supported by your board as well. So Congressman Thompson's staff is continuing to work with representatives from each of the subcommittees that are contemplating awards, and they're effectively advocating for Lake County to secure as much funding for as many projects as they possibly can. Unfortunately, while it's far too early to be certain of the outcome, Congressman Thompson's staff is optimistic that multiple Lake County projects will be funded again this year. So that part is really good news. Unfortunately, one of Congressman Thompson's staff relayed that, as previously stated, aquatic centers and community swim centers are not eligible for funding. And I wanted to also just affirm that there was a meeting hosted between City of Lakeport and City of Clear Lake staff to try to see if there were creative opportunities to still include something on the Lakeport side of the proposal. And it was unfortunately determined that we're too late in the process to do that. So on behalf of the Joint Powers Agency, which encompasses the cities and also the county, this is a project that is consistent with the overall scope of that group to try to develop recreation centers as broadly in the county as possible. And so the Joint Powers Agency was supportive of modifying this proposal as allowable in order to try to get funding for whatever Lake County focused projects we can. And so that's how we came to this place today. So you'll recall our initial submittal was not committee-specific, so unfortunately, they weren't able to find funding for the broader request. But we're really grateful that Congressman staff did continue to work through this with us and provide this secondary opportunity. So while the county and cities had hoped that we could collectively make a more broadly distributed and county-wide impact with this funding request, it's still nonetheless a positive to have a regional recreation center of this quality in Lake County. So the resolution before your board today modifies the request for support from supporting the recreation center in Clear Lake at Burns Valley and a potential community swim aquatic center in Lakeport to just including at this time the recreational center at Burns Valley. And that's again accordance with the guidance of Congressman Thompson's office that that's what's likely or more likely to have an opportunity to be funded this year. So we're just trying to position our request to have the best chances as possible.
Great, thank you, Matthew. Comments from the board? Supervisor Sabatier?
I appreciate that we were able to push all of those projects. I know that some of those projects came late to us as well. We added one on the list the day of that we were reviewing all these things. I don't think it takes away from anything that we were attempting to get. I think this is still working towards the greater good of the JPA. And hopefully this is not a negative for me to say this, but I do think we weren't creative enough. I know I mentioned to you, Mr. Rothstein, that a empty swimming pool makes a great skate park, and so they could have looked a little harder, but it seems that the obvious is there, and so that's why we're not able to move forward with it. Hope we find another way to support the city of Lakeport and our JPA for that to happen, because it is a regional draw, not just a specific location asset. So I think that moving forward is unfortunately what it needs to be. I wish we could do both, but it is what it is at this moment in time.
Supervisor Green?
Yeah, just a technical question. When we did the original CPF, the county was submitting it, right? Now we have a JPA, and if we put in this request as the board and, get awarded it, it'd be awarded to the county or to the new JPA? It's just a technical question, and who should be making the request? Should it be the board? Now that we have a JPA, we're doing an extra agenda item here. My question is, should we be spinning up a special meeting of the new JPA to be doing this request?
Yeah, no, I can definitely appreciate that question. So the action that's before your board today is simply defining this as among Lake County's highest priorities for community project funding. So we did that with the previous items, and as it progresses through the process, it'll be clarified in terms of, what specific agency will be providing the funding and what Lake County entity would be most, appropriate to draw down the funding at that point in time. But we're really not to that point in the cycle yet. But I am aware that the JPA is, already looking to be active and is, as was suggested, already looking into other potential opportunities for funding. And I can definitely, make sure that the members of the JPA or the representatives to the JPA are aware of, your interest in clarifying that as soon as possible.
Okay. Any public comment? I don't have my Zoom open. Is anyone in Zoom, Johanna?
Mine died.
There are no hands in Zoom
Okay.
at this time.
Would you like me to get on?
Bringing it back to the board for action then. What's the recommended action
The recommended action
it's
is
here.
to adopt the resolution.
as an extra item?
Just offer the resolution, correct?
Vice Chair?
Yes, I'd like to offer the resolution.
Thank you.
Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall,
Aye.
Supervisor Green,
Aye.
and Supervisor Pyska.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.